What up, Dokkanners? We have been given our first hint as to what the next Dokkan Festival unit is going to be in the game. Global and JP social media both tweeted this out, and this is the image. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters, all positioned symmetrically with red eyes. Now, we're gonna go through our various theories. I'm sure there will be more out there. And as we continue through this, they will get increasingly more insane. So if you're watching this, early on, you're gonna be like, yeah, that makes sense. But later on, you're gonna be like, Toon, are you high? And the answer is yes. So let's start with the most obvious thing that you might think of when you see this. Based on the shape, based on the presentation, the way that these figures are standing, the first thing that comes to mind, I think we can all agree, is that this looks like the LR Int Metal Cooler. And more importantly, this just looks like that shot from Metal Cooler, the Metal Cooler movie, where they're all standing like that. Obviously, you're not seeing 7 characters in this shot here. You're only seeing 5, but there's obviously way more than just the 7. So it doesn't necessarily have to include all of them. It just sort of invokes that image, right? So I do think that Metal Cooler being a possibility is definitely a realistic guess. Not to mention, we've been talking recently about some potential EZAs coming up, and some of the biggest EZAs that are on the docket would be the worldwide 2022 units. The worldwide 2022 characters do feature units such as the STR Final Form Cooler, the Physical Metal Cooler. Where the hell is Wicked Bloodline? Here it is. This dude right here, and that dude. Obviously, this guy's not from the Metal Cooler, but this guy is. But he does have red eyes, so that does kind of connect to the red eye portion. I don't think the red eyes necessarily matters too much here, although, to be fair, he is rocking red eye. Wait, do the coolers really have red eyes? Actually, no, don't think I never noticed that. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, this would just... Oh, my God. It's Metal Cooler. I just saw that. It's Metal Cooler. Okay, so this would make a lot of sense. And I think that this would be a good thing, because... this would allow those characters to justifiably EZA sometime soon, and this will kind of help sort of carry us over until, you know, the next big wave of content, which would be the anniversary, right? So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say on the subject, but as maybe let's think, because we also have to tie this back to Proton's tweet, because at some point this has to pay off. So, you know, a recent video we were talking about how it's conceivable that an Android 13, 14, 15 scenario could come up, where the next Dokkan Festival would have 2 featured banner units. Whatever this is, it's going to be a Dokkan Festival TUR. It's not going to be an LR. So if this is a Metal Cooler thing, then we would be looking at something more akin to this. And we've already got our first AGL Metal Cooler. So what is this new Metal Cooler going to look like? And then on top of that, are they going to release 2 banner units that are potentially like just the same Metal Cooler clone, but a different type? Are they going to give us summonable versions of the same free-to-play Metal Cooler characters, similar to how we've got like a Ginyu Force free-to-play team, and then we've got a Ginyu Force pay-to-play team, which isn't quite complete yet, but it's getting there. So maybe they'll do something similar with the Metal Coolers. That's always a possibility. Maybe they do something with the Cyclopean Guards. I don't know. But I do think now, after seeing this, I am very much leaning towards it being a Metal Cooler celebration, which would be pretty neat. Most of you may not care, which is fine. The EZAs will be what matters, and I think everyone will be happy, because those of you who skip will not feel like you're missing out. So the next biggest possibility, and I think it's worth mentioning, even though we just discovered this whole red eye thing, is focusing more in on the red eyes. I also thought of Baby, because the whole Power of Malice thing, how Baby powered up into Super Baby 1 and Super Baby 2, both involved characters with red eyes, all sort of standing in unison. Maybe not necessarily literally, but figuratively, right? So as Vegeta powered up into Super Baby 1, he had all of his minions all stand around him and transfer power. And this was like the most short-lived form in the history of Dragon Ball, because after he got this really, really cool outfit, and he's just chilling like this, like 30 seconds later, he starts powering up. Oh, I don't think you see it in here. But like 30 seconds later, he then calls to, you know what? I gotta find that screenshot. This is the one. So he's in his, Super Baby 1. He calls upon all the people infected with Baby. They're all channeling their power of malice, and they transfer all of it into Baby 1, and then he becomes Baby 2, and he launches the negative spirit bomb, negative energy, whatever it's called. So yeah, this also makes a lot of sense. It's not as maybe literally logically sound, but still, when you consider the red eyes, they're all standing together as sort of like one entity. It does make you think baby. So honestly, short answer, it's either cooler or it's baby. Either way, does that make you want to summon just on the fact that it's one of those? Let me know in the comments. Obviously, people will feel one way at first, and then depending on what the character can do, depending on what the character can do to boost other characters, that could change things. I feel like Metal Cooler ultimately is the bigger get right now. As much as I would like for it to be baby. Actually, no, I think either way it'd be okay. Because GT Bosses is in a very good place. So if baby were to release, that would be another revisiting of GT, but more importantly, the extreme side of GT. We could also see some nice free-to-play awakenings for the baby clone characters, like the only characters in the game that are extreme hybrid Saiyans. Yes, we do have extreme hybrid Saiyans. All those units have been at their same point for what, like 9 years, 8 years, however long it's been since they've been out. This guy, Possessed GT, this guy is at the, not the TUR, right? He's at the SSR, yeah. This is the SSR level. So you got Possessed Trunks, you got Possessed Goten, Gohan, where are they? Why are they not all standing together? Oh, there they are. Yeah, these two. Maybe we get a couple more. Maybe that's what this, oh my God, maybe that's what it is. Goten, Trunks, and, well, no, that wouldn't work here because, well, I don't know, maybe. I never rule anything out. Maybe this is just applying to like older characters that are getting updates. And maybe the new character would just be an entirely different ID set. I don't know. But it's just food for thought. So again, it really just boils down to either cooler or baby. My money is going to be on cooler. But hey, maybe I just jinxed it and it became baby. So let's continue and go on through other predictions as we typically do. This is tradition to discuss other theories. I gotta mention it. The fighters clones, it's possible, right? They got red eyes. We've had a fighters crossover promotion before, Android 21 and all that stuff. Maybe we finally get those assets in the game that are just regular enemies. Maybe maybe they end up becoming actual usable characters. Would be kind of cool. That might be our new like way to celebrate crossover stuff. Oh, also, I forgot to mention there was an asset update that happened during the 10th anniversary with the final, the DB story overhaul for the Baby Saga finale. This could also potentially be a sign. I say potentially just because we already sort of had this event play out during the 10th anniversary, so this was already accounted for and taken care of then. But maybe this was also done as an extra step for later on down the road when we do get Baby again. All right, so moving on here to other less likely options. I think the Shadow Dragons, they do work more figuratively, not literally. Obviously, they're not standing together like this, but notice how there are 7 characters. And among the Legion of Shadow Dragons, there are 7. You got, this is Black Smoke Shenron. He doesn't count. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So with these 7 characters, that does kind of work. And I guess by extension, any and all group-based ideas would work. So, you know, by that logic, the Ginyu Force, I guess, has some merit, although the Ginyu Force wouldn't have 7 people. But you can stretch this logic as far as you want to get to some of the more, like, ridiculous theories. Like, there was the Play-Doh fighters. Shout out to one of you guys who responded to my tweet. You got the Play-Doh warriors. I think they're actually called, like, bio-boosted fighters. I think that's the official name from the Bio Broly movie. And then you've got like Ninja Murasaki. You could also throw in the Gendarmerie Force, whatever they're called. Any group-based thing would work. Hey, you know what? This doesn't quite land, but you've got shadowy figures and you've got red eyes. Maybe we finally learn about Jiren's past a little bit. What do you think? Also, dude, shadowy figures with red eyes. Daima confirmed. It's Daima. Why are there 7 instead of 3? Well, you see, what happened was there's actually 4 more Tamagamis that haven't yet been. What's up? Next, we got 7, you know, like Universe 7. Maybe we're getting a Universe 7 thing. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe Galeem is going to be showing up. Maybe Dokkan Festival TUR Galeem. You know, he's the guy who created all the puppet fighters. Where are my Smash fans at? Also, on the subject of Smash, I was also kind of thinking of Subspace Emissary because Taboo created those little Primid creatures, right? I don't think I have that screenshot in here, but I was thinking of that too. Marvel Zombies, we could totally get a Marvel crossover. Makes a lot of sense, right? The Rumbling, I mean, the Titans have red eyes too, you know. Like, look at all these uggos just standing here. Maybe it's them. It could be Bleach, right? This is Bleach. Could be Zarbon. Zarbon's monster form. He can have red eyes if and Daima Super Saiyan 4, you know, I mean, he also has red eyes. It totally works.